One moment.
Yes.
And yes, good evening. Good evening. Good evening, Poland. Good evening, Austria. Well, it's a Tuesday, and we start with a Weinviertel wine tasting. Weinviertel, not only Gruener. Let me introduce Maria Obermeier. Hello, Maria.
Hello.
Hello. And in 3 minutes, Maria starts, the managing director of the Weinviertel Wine Committee, Regional Wine Committee. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah?
Perfect.
Right. Danke. Yeah. Okay. Well, do not forget, spittoons, always, and 14 wines. All the wineries appear twice, as they have two wines each. Maria, and the wineries have about 5 minutes, yes, 5-6 minutes for presentation. So, Maria, an introduction. Yeah, the
I
floor is.
will do. Thank you very much, Piotr. Thank you for this nice introduction. I will try to make a short introduction from the Weinviertel. This is the area where I'm working for. I have to say I'm quite new. I started in April. I took over from my former colleague Uli Hager. I know maybe you know her. So this is my first online session, and I'm very proud and excited to share this with you. So you can start with the next slide, Piotr. Yes. So short introduction by me now of the Weinviertel. You can have the next slide, please. I just wanted to give you a feeling, how does it look here in the Weinviertel? You can see this is a typical landscape picture from the Weinviertel. It's very wide. There are no Alps in our part of Austria. There are somewhere else. And you can see like 60, 70 kilometers from one end to another. And it's very calm and quiet. It's a beautiful landscape. So, and the next slide, please. This is where I wanted to show you where it's located in Austria. It's located, you can see Vienna there. It's in the north from Vienna, and our international neighbors are the Czech Republic and Slovakia. It's located in Niederösterreich, that's apart from Austria, which is the biggest generic wine growing area, and the Weinviertel is one out of 8 specific wine areas from the Weinviertel, and we are the biggest in Niederösterreich, and we are very proud of this. You can see that we have almost 14,000 hectares. And the climate, we have the cold winds from the north, and we have the warm wind from the east, which makes a very good climate for crispy, fruity, fresh wines, because we have, due to this climate, we have cold nights and warm days, and hot summers and cold winters. So the next slide, please. Our leading performer and most important grape variety is the Gruener Veltliner. We are the biggest wine growing area of Gruener Veltliner in Austria and also worldwide. Almost 3/4 of the surface worldwide grows in the Weinviertel. So that's also why we are called home of Gruener Veltliner. And talking of the Gruener Veltliner, it's always a topic origins, because the Weinviertler winemakers recognized in very early stage, already 2002, that origin is an important criteria for wines. And that's why they decided almost next year, 20 years ago, that they will do the first protected designation of origin. And since then, they created the brand Weinviertel DAC. DAC stands for Districtus Austriac Controllatus, which means controlled designation of origin, Austrian designation of origin. And you can see here what's a typical taste profile from the Weinviertel DAC. It has to have light yellow to greenish yellow color. This is a dry wine with maximum residual sugar of 6 grams per liter. The alcohol have to be between 12 and 13%. And the classic Weinviertel DRC, it's not allowed that they have flavors of wood or botrytis. So it's very famous and very well known and recognizable for this fine, peppery, spicy, fruity taste. That's the classic Weinviertel DRC. And then we also have, since 2009, we have the Weinviertel DRC Reserve, which has exactly the same criteria as the Weinviertel DRC, but in addition, it's allowed to have more alcohol. It has to have minimum alcohol of 13%, also dry, but maximum 9 gram per liter residual sugar, so a little bit more. And it's also allowed to have a delicate flavor of wood or botrytis. So this is the first flights are going to be presented by one of some wineries of our area, and they will present Weinviertel DRC and Weinviertel DRC Reserve. And then we have also some other varieties, because it's not only Gruener this time to be presented.
Yes, actually. Thank you very much, Maria. And we have the first flight here. Perhaps you want to show on the map where from the wines are coming. First 3 wines from the flight number 1.
Exactly. We prepared some slides to show you with some maps where, because the Weinviertel is very big, as I told you before, it's the biggest wine area in Austria, where the wines come from. So this, the first one, Gruber Röschitz, comes from Röschitz. It's more in the western part, you can see. And then the second wine, which will be presented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, you have here actually on the other, almost the other side from the Weinviertel, it's more the east, von Herrn Baumgarten, Weingut Frank. And then the third one from the first flight, we're going back close to Röschitz, called Obermackersdorf, close to Retz. Yes.
Yeah. Great. Thank you very much. And just for your information, I mean, all the attendees information, this session is registered. So if you miss something, hopefully not, but if you miss something, you can see it on YouTube. And also you can evaluate the wines if you want to play with us. There is a link. The group leaders got the link and were given the link, and you can register and give your ratings if you want, of course. Well, yes. Thank you very much, Maria. And now the first winery, and this is Branko Mucina from Gruber Röschitz. Röschitz. Okay. Branko, join us, please. Mm-hmm. Can we see Branko? Okay. Branko is coming.
Perfect.
It's coming slowly, but well, perhaps the first photo. Now you can pour the wine to the glasses. Nice. Oh, Branko, if you have any problems, Branko, please log out. No, we see you. Great. Hello. Good evening.
Hej, cześć.
Cześć.
Hello.
Cześć.
Dobry wieczór.
Well, Branko? Yeah. Okay. So this is your time.
Good evening. Welcome from my side also. I hope that everybody will have an interesting and nice evening tonight with some wonderful Weinviertel wines. I will talk a little bit about the winery, then we can taste the first wine together, and the second wine I will maybe talk a little bit about differences of vintages. I think that's also an interesting topic. So just to come in medias res, we are in Röschitz, in the northwestern part of the Weinviertel, and the winery is called Gruber. And for you, important and most interesting to know is what makes this winery special. What's the interesting part of this? We have to say this is a it's not a small winery. We have 80 hectares, so that's a pretty big winery in terms of Austrian size. But the whole winery is run by a family, so it's maybe not so typical to have such a big operation still run by family. In fact, it's 3 siblings, 2 brothers and a sister, who are running this winery and who are sharing the work. So Maria does administration and sales, Christian is for the vineyards, and Eva does the vinification. So another very important thing for us is that we are organic. So you have, of course, Austria has the biggest proportion of organic wineries in the world. Austria has a lot of family wineries. So in this Gruber winery, you have all 3 components together. You have organic, you have family, and it's also quite a big company. So I think that's a little bit of a USP for this estate. As in many parts of Weinviertel, what is most important is the work in the vineyards. It's the soils. We have a mix of granite, so primary rock, sometimes called, and löss, and both are very important and very good soils for white wines, for Gruener Veltliner, of course, but also for red wines. The first wine you taste is, of course, the Weinviertel DSC, and this is a mix of various vineyards. So you have a high proportion of löss. For you, maybe interesting to know, löss gives a certain roundness to the wines and a very nice minerality. It's basically a perfect soil for Gruener Veltliner. And a smaller part is also grown on granite, and granite gives a very nice structure, nice acidity. The English call it lean wines, so wines that have a beautiful structure and they keep the freshness. So if you taste this wine, you will get the very typical aromas of a classic, typical Weinviertel DSC Gruener Veltliner. So this is important to know. Gruener Veltliner is not a super aromatic variety, so it's not like Sauvignon or Muscat. It's the aromas are pretty decent. You can always have, of course, citrus, and the standout fruit profile of Gruener Veltliner from this region is the peppery notes you get. So you can maybe smell some white pepper. That's pretty typical. And on the taste, it's also this very nice peppery fresh notes. So this is very typical. Vinification wise, this is a state of the art. It's stainless steel tank. It's various vineyards. It's ages on the yeast for like 23 weeks. It's gentle pressing, and sulfur is added only at the end of the vinification. So I believe that this is as typical and as good as you can have from Weinviertel. A very classic, easy drinking Gruener Veltliner that goes very well. As I see, we have a lot of hotels and restaurants here, so that's great. How would you pair this wine? I would say this is perfect with lighter kind of meat like chicken. Of course, schnitzel is a classic. I don't know if you guys do schnitzel in Poland. Salads, but also you can drink it as a starter, as an aperitif. So yeah, I hope you like it. I cannot see your faces drinking this beautiful wine, but I really hope that you enjoy it. So that would be for the first wine. I think we can pass to the second wine, Piotr.
Thank you very much, Branko. And tell me, do you have an importer in Poland?
Yes, we have them. It's called Wineland. Yes.
It's called
Wineland is the importer.
Winoland. Okay. No, Wineland from Szczecin or something. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Wineland. Great. Yeah. Fine. Thank you very much, Branko. Being the first winery is never easy, but you did it really perfect.
Dziękuję.
Dziękuję. Originally you're from your family Croatia, yeah?
No, Slovakia.
Slovakia.
So I'm a neighbor. I'm a neighbor of you guys.
Okay, good. All right. Perfect. Thank you very much. And see you soon, yeah, because you're coming back.
Yes.
Yeah. Fine. Well, and now Daniela Frank. Daniela? Hello. Weingut Frank, already known to you or imported to Poland for many years, and two wines, classic and reserve afterwards. Actually, this will be about the Gruener. Hi, Daniela. Hello. Good evening. I can't hear you, unfortunately. Micro, yeah.
So now can you hear me?
Now can I hear you? Yes, I can.
Hello.
Okay, great. So it's your time.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daniela. I'm from Frank Winery in the very northeast, as you heard before, in Herrn Baumgarten. So it's way east from Röschitz and very close to the Czech border. It's a small village. Herrn Baumgarten is a small village, and our winery is a family winery, also like Gruber Röschitz, but with only 23 hectares. The family is, there are two families, you've just seen them, Katrin and Johanna is the one part, the family part, which is, Katrin is the cousin of my husband, and my husband and I. So we are the four up front, and there are other family members who are still helping out in the winery, and some workers also. And yeah, our area is a very dry area. This is our village, and you can see the vineyards are just around the village. It's like an amphitheater. So we have vineyards looking into every direction of the compass. And this makes our vineyards very special because we have the possibility to have a vineyard into, for lighter Gruner Veltlinas, like the one we have in our glass right now, we have vineyards looking into north. And for more full-bodied wines, we have vineyard in the south, looking to the south, and yeah, so this is very good. And the soil of our vineyards is loess soil with shells and a limestone. This is one shell I brought from a vineyard, which is a fossil. So this is the biggest one though. Yeah, this is the soil. And what else can I tell you about the vineyards? Yeah, the rainfall, we have only 500 millimeter of rainfall per year. So it's a very dry area. We have Pannonian climate, which means it's warm and dry in summer, and we have cold winters. So let's talk about the wine. The first wine is Weinviertel DRC Gruner Veltliner. Here, I got it here. Looks like this. And this wine is, when you smell it to the glass, you can smell citrus and as well as green apple, I would say. After taking a sip, it's to me, it's again the green apple and citrus aromas, as well as on the palate the pepper. You just heard the peppery style, which we want to have in a Gruner Veltliner Weinviertel DRC. Yeah, so I hope you like this wine. I think it also goes just as the Weinviertel DRC before. I think Weinviertel DRC fits very well to chicken, to schnitzel, or any lighter dish you prefer. And I think it is a perfect wine for also to drink by itself. So yeah, that's what I can tell you about this wine. And our importer is Janton, JMT Group. And yeah, so Piotr, I hand over to the next wine.
Okay, thank you very much, Daniela. So Janton is a big one, yeah.
Yeah.
JNT. This is the
JMT Group. Yeah, it's
JNT Group
JMT.
because they are American, Chinese, Russian, Japanese. I don't know where from, but this is something. Yes.
Yeah, and also Amka is also an importer.
And Anka or
Amka. It's a Danish. It's
Danish,
a
yes, Danish, yes, Amka. Okay.
Yeah.
So, right.
Yeah, but we got to Janton Group by Maklowitz. You know, the famous cook.
Maklowitz, yes. Maklowitz
yes.
is a famous.
And we ate schnitzel with the Maklowitz family already. So that's
Who was cooking the schnitzel?
It was at a restaurant. But yeah.
Wow, so happy you.
Yeah.
Right, perfect. Thank you very much. But Maklowicz is from Krakow, so we have to support him, you know. He's from
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Thank you very much, Daniela. Thank you very much and see you soon. Well, and now, ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is Weingut Bannert. And Nikki, I believe Nikki is with us after some problems. Nikki, just let me inform you. Do we have a photography of Nikki's family? Yes. This is Nikki's husband. Nikki, join us, please. Mr. Bannert already is here with us. Nikki, I'm here. Yeah, but you have to press the buttons. Yes, the buttons. Press the red buttons, the camera and microphone, and then yeah, yes, you know, and the microphone. Do not forget the microphone. We can't hear you. We just see you. Microphone and now say something.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, hello. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
How it ends no trial session?
I'm not so good with the technique, and my daughter is not at home.
Okay, so speak louder, please, or turn it louder.
Okay, you can hear me. It's better.
It's better. It's better.
Okay.
Okay, so Nikki, this is your 5 minutes. I'm turning off.
I only need 3 minutes because my English is not so good. Hello, everybody. My name is Nikki Bannert from the winery Bannert, and I'm very happy to be here. My husband cannot be here, so I have to speak with you. I'm sorry, my English is not so good, and I think it will be very funny with me. It will be very funny with me. So don't ask me some questions, please, just listening. I have a paper, so I have to read a lot of words for this tasting. Okay. I would also like to say that I speak to you not as a winemaker. The winemaker is my husband, Manfred Bannert. I speak as a typical wine drinker, and I think that's very important because our customers are the drinkers. I am the secretary of the vineyard. I'm the cleaning lady, cook's nanny, taxi, and something else for the winemaker. So, okay, we take our wine and Weinviertel DRC. So I take a glass. For me, this wine is very round and fine and very important. It never stops with a glass. Yes. So as a wine drinker, I only can say he's white, he's cold, and he's very, very good. Let me talk about something my husband. For me, he is the best winemaker, and he is the George Clooney of Austria. A few words about him and our winery. We possess 40 hectares of our land and another 10 hectares from other farmers. Every drop that leaves our cellar is 100% my husband, so he makes the whole work alone. We have our wines are going to the whole world. We export to China, America, Netherlands, Czechia, Germany, and I'm very proud that the business is so good with our wines. The Weinviertel DRT is our marketing. So every year the wine makes a lot of awards. And I love it to drink. Prost. So Piotr, you can help me and give the next wine.
Thank you very much, Nikki. That was really nice. And so your husband makes everything alone.
Yes.
Okay.
We have in the vineyard, we have the whole year 3 workers, and in the winter and in the summer there will come about 5 persons. Yes. But the cellar is only his work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Nikki, thank you very much. Let me invite Maria again back, because this is the end of the first flight. Yeah, and yeah. Hello, Maria. And we will see you, Nikki, at the end. Yes,
Yes.
You are number 12 or 13. So stay with us. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Maria, flight number 2.
Yes, exactly. This was the first flight, and now we're coming to flight number 2, where you will be presented also Weinviertel DAC, but from different areas as from the first flight. And we also prepared some slides showing you the map with the wines where they come from, to give you a feeling where they're from. So the first wine from the flight 2 is from Jetzelsdorf. No, that's the wrong map. Yes, perfect. That's correct. It's also the same area. It's also in the western part. So that was correct. Yes, that's Christoph Bauer. He will present it. And then we have the second one is from Poisdorf. It's a very well-known area. It's more from the east. Then you have Weingut Riegelhofer. And then the third one this time is from the south, from Stetten by Weingut Pfaffer. So enjoy, and I hope you like them.
Thank you very much, Maria. Yeah, Stetten, and Weingut Pfaffer. Right. Okay, so now it's Christoph Bauer. Christoph Bauer, please join us with the wine number 4. This is still Mr. Clooney. Yeah, this is Weingut Bauer. Okay. Christoph, hello, good evening.
Do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you, we see you, and...
Perfect. So let's start. We are Weingut Christoph Bauer from the very north in the Weinviertel, just close to the border to the Czech Republic. You saw it on the map. The first picture, you see my wife, Heidi, and me. We are doing this winery together. We have about 20 hectares of vineyards in our area. And since 2017, all our vineyards are certified organic. We are the village is Haugsdorf, Jetzelsdorf. The specialty is in our area. We have also quite some red wines. We have about 40% red wines, which are on special locations, special vineyards, which are a little bit warmer than the rest. And 60% of our vineyards are white. Mainly the Gruener Veltliner, of course, is our biggest white wine grape. You see here a vineyard, which is facing south. You see that on the picture. And the soil there in these vineyards are mainly loess. Loess is a good storage for water and a good storage for nutrition for the vineyards, for the wines. And this is the best soil in our area with our climate for Gruener Veltliner. We have quite dry area, and so we need these loess soils to have enough water also for the grapes. What are we doing except of doing everything organic? We try to harvest really ripe grapes. You see them on the picture. This is a Grauer Burgunder or Pinot Grigio or Pinot Gris, which we will taste later this evening. And you see also the cellar street, the cellar lane of Jetzelsdorf, where all our grapes are pressed, fermented, stored, and bottled, still in this old cellar lane. So we harvest ripe grapes. We try to press them very gently. We do a lot very gentle winemaking, and what we also trying for the wines is to get the character of the grape and also the character of the vintage and the character of the soil and of the vineyard side to transfer it into the wine. 2020, the actual vintage we are having now is quite different than the last years because in this year we had enough rain and a little bit of cooler weather than the last years. So the wines from 2020 are slightly lighter, more elegant, and not so full-bodied or also heavy than the last years. You will see this also in our Gruener Veltliner Weinviertel DRC, which is our classical Gruener Veltliner, the typical wine of the area, the typical Gruener Veltliner. It's medium-bodied, also medium alcohol, not too high from alcohol, but also not too low. What we try in this wine is to get fruitiness into the wine, but also this typical spiciness of the Gruener Veltliner, which is which the Gruener Veltliner is famous for. And if you smell or taste the wine, you will also have, especially in the aftertaste, these typical peppery notes, which also is very typical for the Gruener Veltliner. Yeah. It is fermented in stainless steel tanks, and it's, I think, easy to drink also, but also you can use it already for matching with lots of foods. And this is more or less, in Austria, it's our everyday wine, let's say. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the wine and see you later. And you also see it on the sheet. Our importer to Poland is Winoland. Okay.
you can hear me, perhaps. No, perhaps would be better. Let me invite Susanne Riegelhofer. Thank you very much, Christoph. Sorry. Thank you very much. And let me invite Susanne Riegelhofer. And I try to fix the problem with the internet connection.
Hello.
Hello. Yes. Sorry.
Hello, everybody.
Yes.
Hi, Christoph.
Great. Okay, Susanne, welcome. And yeah, and now I came back. Right.
Okay,
so sorry for this. And Weingut Riegelhofer and your camper life, yes?
Yeah, thank you very much, Piotr. Thank you. So I like to say hello like everybody else before. And obviously, also, we are a family winery, big surprise. You can see my husband, Max. He's an original Poisdorf man. And you can see me. I'm an original German girl. We used to meet in Geisenheim when we were studying at the School of Viticulture and Enology. Now it's already more than 20 years, so we become older. And yeah, like you see, sometimes we are very funny. There are also times where we are not so funny. So maybe you know during harvest time, it's a lot of hard work. So there is sometimes not so much fun. But most of the time, we try to keep life funny as possible. So we are situated in Poisdorf, which is in the north of Vienna. So if you drive, for example, from Vienna to Brünn or to Prague, you will pass Poisdorf. That's directly on your way then. It's just some kilometers from the Czech border. Like you see, family winery, I already told. So I show you a picture from the beginning of the year when we were just visiting one of our vineyards, which is situated in the middle of the golf course, which makes it very interesting for the kids because they were looking for golf balls all the time and they find some. Like the other wineries before, we have a lot of clay and loess soil here in our region, which is very good to cultivate the Gruener, which is the typical Austrian grape variety, which makes the Austrians outstanding because it's only grown here in Austria. And so also we have a Gruener Veltliner. I want to show you our Weinviertel DRC, which is more or less. Piotr, I can tell something later to this photo in the second part.
Okay.
So I just talk a little bit about the wine. Surprisingly, it's a very peppery type of wine. I think it's all the typical Gruener Veltliner have it common. The Weinviertel DRC, they are light in style. They have this kind of a peppery taste. They have a very lively acidity, but we try to keep acidity almost very well balanced because we notice that people get more and more stressed. So they all have problems with the stomach. So I know it. I have the same problem. So we try to keep the acidity and the sugar level in a very good balance. To just also to have fun with the wine, and that you want to drink a second glass and maybe a third. And so that's also why we keep the alcohol not too high, because you want to be funny after third glass and don't want to fall asleep. So that's the things we try to do with our wines, and I think it works very well. I can say in our winery, all the wines are more on the lighter side. So we are not really a heavy wine producer. we really try to keep it funny and easy, because yeah, there are so many situations where you want to have a glass of wine and you really deserve it because you worked hard, or you had a hard day with the kids, or whatever, you had trouble with your boss. So then you want to have a really easy drinking wine, which makes a lot of fun. So that's what we do. So then maybe you already tasted, I will do it as well. Yeah, if you have it on the nose, you have really this light peppery style, a little bit of fruit, maybe green apples. Daniela already mentioned it also in her wine. So Herrn Baumgarten is very close to Poisdorf, so that means the style will be a little bit similar. The wineries are different, so the winemaker has also a different work thing, so the wines will not be the same, but you can see maybe they are a little bit similar because of the geographical point. Yeah, and then if you taste the wine, you will have this spiciness also on the palate. For me, I always say it's like I had to Google this word in English because I don't know it. Yeah, it's like a picture book or storybook Veltliner for me. So if somebody would ask me how does Gruener Veltliner has to taste, I would show him this wine and say that's a Gruener Veltliner, how it should be. So yeah, that was the first part from my side. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward then for the next wines and for my second part. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Susanne. Well, I really like the low alcohol wines and the drinkable wines. Yeah. So,
yeah, I think yeah. The one thing is the wine, you have one glass and you say, oh, as the last wine, very special, very. But I think most of the wines are really consumed.
yeah, that's true. Often people always want to drink the Sunday wines, and they are Tuesdays, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and yeah, every day is good for wine. Yeah,
that's true.
One glass. Yeah.
Perfect.
So see you soon with Sauvignon Blanc, and thank you very much.
See you later.
Thank you. And dear attendees, we are waiting for your comments because you're very shy today. Hey, Julia, hello. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Hi, Piotr.
Hi. So this is your 5 minutes.
Really happy to be here tonight with you, basically over the camera, but I hope we could meet personally sometimes later. Well, my name is Julia. I'm Roman Joseph Pfaffel's girlfriend, and I'm really happy to be tonight here with you. And actually, my colleagues already presented so nice wines, and I'm just standing here all the time. I would also like to try them, so hopefully we could really do that in personal one day. We could repeat this meeting. Yeah, some words regarding Winery Pfaffel. We are a quite young winery. We exist just 40 years ago. The winery was founded by Roman and Adelheid Pfaffel. You also see them on the picture right now. They took over just a small farm with just half a hectare of wine, some pigs, some cattle, some fields where they planted potatoes. And then they opened a tavern. So Heidi was responsible for the tavern. She loves just being hosting people. And Roman, husband, was doing the wines. And yeah, we're now showing some pictures already. That's the Weinviertel region. On one picture, you see some kind of art, the sun done from a barrel. That was Roman's father. He's also not just very much into wine, but also in art history. yeah, and you see the really soft hills here, the less soil, as many of my colleagues already mentioned. Yeah, but just to go back a bit to the family, because I would like to have a few more words on the family. Well, as I said, we've Heidi and Roman founded the business 40 years ago, and yeah, since 2011, it's now guided by Roman and Heidi, two of their three kids. Heidi is responsible for everything that's in the office, so marketing, sales. She's doing the brochures, she's doing sales. Nothing she's not doing, actually. And Roman is responsible for the cellar, for the winemaking. The winemaking he's still doing together with his father, and it's also 100% them. So every bottle leaving our warehouse, our cellar, both of them, like, they did together. And that's also something really special in terms also of the size we have already. There's also me on the picture. I'm, as I said, Roman's girlfriend. For 5 years now I'm in the business, and I'm supporting where I can. Of course, sometimes I'm the nanny also, I'm the cleaning lady, but most of the time I'm doing presentations. I'm also meeting clients. I'm also helping Roman sometimes in the cellar because I find it really interesting and a lot of things to learn. And yeah, and on the picture there are also Heidi's kids, so hopefully they will also follow one day in the business. Marianne, she's very much into design and graphics. So she's painting and drawing. Really, it's amazing. So probably one day she will design our labels. Yeah, and probably just some final words to the family. What characterizes them really? They're hardworking, they're down to earth, and they just love what they do every day. Yeah, here you see the two generations. Yeah, I think it's now time to try our first wine, isn't it? First wine we have here is our Gruener Weinviertel in Zeisen, which grows on the largest fossil oyster reef, which looks like this. So that gives it really a nice structure, minerality, and in combination with the Gruener Weinviertel, which adds, as my colleagues already said, this nice peppery flavors, this lime notes, and still some ripeness, which you have the ripe apple.
Sorry, Julia, yes? I'm sorry, there is a problem with your microphone. So please.
Okay.
Yeah, now it's better.
It's better? Fine. Okay. Should I repeat something, or where did I lose you with the microphone?
No, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Go on, because the time is actually going up. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, and our Weinviertel DRC Zeisen is really one of my favorites, I have to admit, because it's easy drinking and still so full of flavors. And also, as Branko said at the beginning, that's for me something really special about Gruener Veltliner, because it's not as Sauvignon or Muscatella, which really jumps into your nose and you don't smell anything else. But it's really decent. It has still very fruity, peppery flavors, and still it's so versatile. You can vinify it as a classic DAC. Later on, we will also have DAC reserves, and it's really crazy what you can do with Gruener Veltliner. It's really so versatile, and it's also versatile in terms of what you could combine as a food companion. There is really nothing I would say that would not fit. You could drink, for example, a Gruener Veltliner, a classic Gruener Veltliner, as a colleague said before, as a starter. You could, but also combine it with some. I love, for example, our Zeisen. I love to combine it with some nice pasta, with some seafood, for example. You could also combine it just traditionally with some schnitzel or some backhandel, so there's really nothing that would not fit. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Julia. This was very interesting. Still have some problems with my connection, so you just hear me and you can see me. But thank you very much. High-rated wine, as we can see. Falstaff, Sackling. Well, Sackling is everywhere this year, but Falstaff, Sackling, yeah, decanter. Congrats. Congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now, Maria, please join us. Please join us, Maria, because this is flight number 3. Hello.
Hello, hello. Yes. Flight
Yes.
number 3. We're still in the Weinviertel DSC world, but now we are going to taste the Weinviertel DSC reserves. And we have 3 different ones and also 3 different slides to give you an impression where they're from this time. Maybe we can see the first slide. Yes, it's also in Herrnbaumgarten, where we have been before already. So all of them are, 2 are more in the east-north, and the second one is in Falkenstein. That's new one for this flight, Weingut Dürnberg. And then we have the third one, Stetten, where we just have been in the south. So I hope you enjoy them, and I hope you like the reserves as well.
Thank you very much, Maria. Thank you very much. And now, Daniela. Daniela, you're back.
Hi.
Hi.
Again.
Hi. This is your time.
Yes. The second wine we're tasting from our winery is Gruener Veltliner Ried Hoher Weg, which means it's a single vineyard. It's called High Path. It's the top of a hill with a lot of sun, a good soil. And and we do really a lot in this vineyard. We make big fuss with it because after blooming, we cut the grapes in half. Then a bit later in July, we do green harvest once more in this vineyard. And then we go and pick the grapes by hand in 3 rounds when picking the grapes. And then only the ripest grapes, only into boxes. And then we put the boxes to our house. And then we keep the grapes 12 hours on the mash. Then we gently press the grapes. Then the juice is going without pumping into the ground floor of our house, of our cellar, into oak barrels, into 600-liter oak barrels. And there they're fermented, and then they stay 12 months on the lees. And then the wine is bottled. And this wine is vintage 2019, so it was a very good vintage in Austria, and we're very satisfied with this vintage. And it has 13.5 volume of alcohol, and it has what else does it have? It has it's very balanced. It has 3.5 grams residual sugar and 5.2 grams acidity. So I think when you drink it, I just poured it already in my glass. And already the smell is very special, because it's not like the Veltliners we had before. The Weinviertel DRC Classic style has more fresh fruitiness, and this has ripe apple. It has a little bit pineapple, a little bit blossom honey, orange zest notes, almonds, a little bit more than just primary fruit. And then when you taste it, you feel the structure on the palate. You know, it's almost creamy when it comes down the throat. So I think it is a very good wine to go with dishes that are a bit more spicy, a bit more, you know, like I think even you could eat it with a good steak or something like that. Yeah. Drink it to a good steak when you eat a steak. So, okay. So, yeah, I think this is a perfect wine to close an evening, to have a final glass of Gruener Veltliner. It's not a everyday drinking wine, but it's perfect for that. And it's good that we can show what Gruener Veltliner can do. You know, it's not just easygoing. It also can be very subtle and very, very strong. So that's it.
Thank you very much. Is this wine available in Poland?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, because the J&T group has your full portfolio or just some wines?
They have especially some wines, but I think this wine would possibly be more with Amka.
Yeah.
Amka could be better to get them to get this wine, but also J&T Group. If they would order it, we could send it anytime. So
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Daniela, and it's always a pleasure to meet you. And well, ladies and gentlemen, folks, how do you like these wines? Say something, because we are.
Did anyone taste anything I said? Maybe did somebody get the almonds or something like that? They're not writing, Piotr. It's too bad.
Too bad. Well.
I think I'm alone out here. I feel very, very by myself.
I'm with you. I also feel.
Thank you, Piotr. Oh, now Matthias is here.
Wow.
Hi.
Yeah. Matthias is with us, so we are free already. Yeah.
Yes.
You are not alone. Yes. We are not alone. The first comment on the chat, but this is Branko.
That it was Branko. Are you sure, Piotr? Anybody is listening in Poland?
I hope so. We are with you. And this
here it goes.
Thanks God. Yes. Thanks God. This is it's the Stettin. Yes, Stettin is with us. Good.
Okay.
Good. Great. Okay.
So bye.
Thank you very much, Daniela, and hope
Thanks
to see
for
you
having
soon.
me.
Thank you. Bye. Matthias, hello.
Hello, Piotr.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening to everybody in Poland. Yeah, warm welcome from Falkenstein. So we're more or less neighbors of Poisdorf and Baumgarten. So almost the same area. Nevertheless, there's a little bit of difference as Falkenstein is a little bit on higher altitude, and which with quite a really very high concentration of limestone in our area. So as you can see on the picture, we are 4 friends who are running this winery. The young guy, the second from the left, and the right, the guy very to the right. This is Michael and Chris. They're responsible for the work in the cellar and in the vineyards. You can see me in the second of the right side, and I have the pleasure to sell the wines which are produced by Michael and Chris, and this is really a lot of fun. And the guy on the very left side, it's George. He's doing all our financial aspects and our marketing guy. So we are more or less working like a family driven business, but with the difference that we are not related to each other, which is sometimes also an advantage. Actually, we have 58 hectares, and we are really focused on Gruener Veltliner, which is something about 55% of our production. And we are doing Gruener Veltliner in 8 different styles, so from a very light and easy, classic, a lot of reserves, and a Gruener Veltliner natural style, which is kept for 6 months, for 6 weeks on the skins, up to an ice wine. And the second focus of our winery are the Burgundy varietals, as they grow very well on the limestone cliffs in Falkenstein. And yeah, Piotr just showed us 2 pictures of our city of Falkenstein. Maybe you can send. Maybe you could show the other one again, Piotr. Great, thank you. Because here you can see on the right side, there's this building. This is our winery. We have 2 productions. On the one side, this modern winery, where all the wines are vinified in stainless steel. And besides that, we have in the old cellar street in Falkenstein, the traditional cellar with all the oak barrels for our reserve wines. Yeah, and for this tasting now, for the first wine, I selected our single vineyard reserve of Ried Rabenstein. You can see here now the winery on the picture. Yeah, now it's again. And right opposite of the winery, this vineyard is the Rabenstein vineyard. So it's the vineyard. The wines are up to 55 years old. And due to the different styles of Gruener Veltliner, I would describe this Gruener Veltliner as a Veltliner in Burgundy style. So the harvesting is always around end of October, and most of our reserve wines we do with skin contact. So at this wine, we are working with approximately 40 to 48 hours skin contact before pressing. This has the advantage that the wine gets a really very, very nice structure, and for the aging potential, it's also great. And after pressing, it matures for almost 12 months in 1,000 and 1,200 liter oak barrels. So we use 1/3 is a new oak, 2/3 second and third layer. And I think it's quite a complex wine, and we are actually selling from this wine vintages 12, 13, 17, 18. 19 is already bottled, but it will need some time until we release it. So me personally, I prefer this Rabenstein in the 3rd or 4th year after the harvest. So in my opinion, 21 is now perfect for enjoying vintage 17. Yeah, you can see the nice golden color of this wine, which is also the reason for that is also the skin contact, where also not only tannins are going to the wine, it's also color from the skins. And similar to Daniela's wine before, we are also now talking about really a full-bodied wine, and not an easy drinking wine. So it's for me more a food pairing partner. You have a lot of yellow fruits, ripe pears, ripe apples. I find an idea of quince, tropical fruits, a little bit of mango, papaya. It's quite a complex wine. On the palate, you have this, again, quite a strong creaminess. You also note the wood, but it's very elegant. There comes also, besides the vanilla, an idea of tobacco. And what's the big advantage of our full-bodied reserve wines is that even if we're talking about wines with 13.5, 14 alcohol, the wines never get an opulent character, because in the finish you have always this refreshing mineralic character which comes from the limestone soils. Yeah, this will be my short description of this wine, and it will be a pleasure for me to present you the second wine in a few minutes. Just for your information, our wines are distributed in Poland on the one side by Wojciech of Wogar in Opole. He's also online here in the tasting. And besides that, it's also Wino na Butelki in Poznan.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, so this is not anymore actual. This is dealer searching. Okay, Wojciech Wojtanowski, he is with us. Yes, from Opole, and Wino na Butelki. That was perfect.
Yeah, they run also the restaurant Mlinska 12.
Yeah, Młyńska 12. Yes. Yes, yeah, that's it. Młyńska 12.
Okay. Yeah.
But yes, you're perfect. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. I like your wines, and I like this style. I have to admit. Yeah, I like this style.
I think it's important to show the different shades of Gruener Veltliner, and that's quite interesting in this tasting. Unfortunately, I couldn't taste all the other wines, but I know a lot of them, and I think that's the mission of this tasting. And also to get an idea about the aging potential of Gruener Veltliner. That is not always a wine that has to be drunk, that has to be enjoyed very in the first year. This one you can keep for 10, 12 years minimum.
Yeah, I imagine, yes. Okay, thank you, Matthias. Thank you. We have some signals that some groups in Poznań have problems with connection, but the others, if you hear us, if you see us, please type something, write something on the chat. Yeah, would be fine. Just hello, we can see you, we can hear you. Accordingly, jesteśmy. Okay. Yeah, so Poznań is back. Yeah, fine. Good. Thank you very much. And now Julia Wimmer and Pfaffel Golden, Reserve Golden. Julia, hello, come back. First comment, perfect wine. Yeah. Okay, first, z drugiej strony lustra. So this is still Szczecin. Yeah. And somebody else. Julia, if you have problem, please log out and come back. Log out, come back. So, Matthias, the traffic jam was not so terrible, I believe.
Yeah, it was not. It was enough worse. Yeah. So it took 1 hour, 40 minutes instead of 1 hour.
Good. Okay, so Julia, we see you, we hear you, I believe.
Thank you, Piotr. Hello, everyone, back again with our second wine. It's a Weinviertel DRC Reserve Golden. The name is just not golden because of its color. It's named golden after the location where it's situated. It's called in Goldenjochen. So that's where the wine comes from, and that's also what gives it the characteristic, the typical. It's harvested really, really late, and from the soil, which is very important to any wine, I would say. I will show you just here. I'm not sure if you can see it. We have a really thin lush soil on the top, and then it just becomes sand like on the beach. So it's really crazy. The sandy soil stores the sunlight very well, which gives maturation to the grapes. And in addition to the time we leave the wine outside, and we harvest late and then leave it on the yeast for some time. It gets this golden color. What's also special about this wine is that we store it in acacia wood barrels. So it's not oak, but it's big acacia wood barrels. Why acacia? Acacia is first of all, the most traditional time of storing for wine. Because in Austria, like formerly, where you couldn't import barrels, you took what you had, and we just have more acacia in Austria than we have oak. That's the first part, why we use acacia wood. The second is that it's more sustainable to use acacia because we don't have to import it, but we just use what we have in Austria. So we buy it from Austria, the barrels. And the third thing why we use acacia is because acacia is more decent in taste, and acacia just adds the wine some additional dimension. It adds to the wine some kind of, it's for me, it tastes like some honey, some almond, but it's really decent. We don't want to put makeup on the wine. We want to leave it in its characteristic as it is, and just add a dimension. Yeah, that's our golden. So I would say let's try it. For me, you have those ripe apple peel fruits. You have this still peppery notes, which is, as you already heard, very, very typical for our Gruener Veltliner, which we are very proud of. But also some pineapple, some exotic notes. Very complex. And I'm always thinking of pairing it with something, some Asian cuisine, some chili, some coconut, probably some salmon. So some a fish dish which is a bit more heavy, a bit more spicy. Of course, you can also compare it with the traditional backhandle or something, like some chicken and some bread crust is also very nice. But for me, it's some pasta with salmon with really nice spice, or some Asian dish. So then, cheers. Are there any questions to the wine or to the winery?
Tell me, Julia, what is more or less the price, like cellar or the retail price in Austria of this wine?
Of this wine, like what we sell it ex-cellar to end consumers, it's 21 euros.
21 euros.
That's the ex-cellar price for everyone coming inside, so to say, for end consumers. So it's really a wine for special occasions, I would say. So it's not a wine you just drink on its own, but you drink with friends, you drink for a special occasion, you pair with food. Because, and as you see also from the density and from color, it just deserves to be shared with some friends, some nice food together, I would say.
Okay. All right.
Some words if there are no questions regarding our vineyards.
Yeah.
If you want. As Maria said at the beginning, we're located in Stetten. It's in the south of the Weinviertel, so we're really bordering Vienna. We also have some vineyards in Vienna, but most of our vineyards are in the Weinviertel, of course. And they're all spread in around the winery for about like 20 kilometers, I would say, in 11 different villages, which sounds really small distance, but with the machines, with tractor and everything, it's quite of a way to go all the time. But the advantage of this is that we can really profit from the different soils, from the different microclimates climates we find in the Weinviertel, which is really amazing. And that's why we can not only grow, as you will see in the next slide, not only Gruener Veltliner, but just let yourself surprise from the Weinviertel what we can do.
Thank you very much, Maria. Julia, sorry, Maria is the
Thank you.
Thank you, and stay with us. Perhaps some questions will come with the time. Right. Thank you, Maria. Please, this is the flight number 4. Flight number 4. Hello.
Hello. Hello. I'm back again.
No, there's the wyżej.
Yes, before I show you the slides of the wineries, we're going to present not only Gruener Veltliner, and as Julia said, this will be a surprise. I'm very curious already. I would like to share some information about the grape varieties we have here in the Weinviertel. As I said before, our leading performer is the Gruener Veltliner. And the next most important grape variety is the Zweigel. This is a red wine we're producing. From the white wines, we have the Welsh Riesling with 8%. And then you see we're switching to the reds again, Blauer Portugiese with 6%. And then we have Chardonnay, Weißburgunder, White Burgunder, Riesling, Müller-Thurgau. And as you can see, there are many different grape varieties. Of course, the focus is on Gruener Veltliner because we're home of Gruener Veltliner, but we also do excellent wines of other grape varieties. Mm-hmm. So coming to flight number 4, we have 5 different wineries showing this not only Gruener Veltliner. And I would like to show you and to give you a feeling where they're coming this time, from which area of the Weinviertel. And if you can show the next slide, please. Yes, we will start in Poisdorf, where we have been with the Sauvignon Blanc. And then we will come to Weingut Riegelhofer. And then we have Falkenstein, Weingut Dürnberg with Ortolan Cuvée Prestige. I'm very curious about this one. Then we're going to Röschitz, to Gruber, Weingut Gruber Röschitz with a Riesling. And then we're going back to Obermackersdorf, close to Retz, Weingut Bannert with a Weißburgunder, with a Surinaner. And then finally, we're going to finish this flight with in Jetzelsdorf from Weingut Bauer with a Grauer Burgunder. So I hope you will enjoy them, and I'm looking forward to your feedback.
Yeah, say me too. I'm looking right. Okay, okay. So now it's first one is Susanne and Riegelhofer, Weingut Riegelhofer. Hello, Susanne. Please come back. Yeah. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. The microphone. Can't hear you.
For sure.
Yeah, now it's good.
Well? Okay. Otherwise, it will be complicated. You have to read everything from my lips. So thank you very much. I'm here again. I wanted to say something to that picture. Yeah, that's we have a cellar, a historic cellar in the, it's called Gstetten, which is like a cellar place in the middle of Poisdorf. We have an old cellar which belonged to a monastery. That means it's one of the biggest in Poisdorf with a very long yeah, let's say tunnel. However, I don't know the real English word. So that shows us in this cellar, and I think there is a second picture, Piotr. I don't know if you. Yeah, that's the cellar from outside. Yeah, it's really a very nice place. Yeah, it's the apple of the eye of my father-in-law. He's taking care of this place and he loves it a lot. Yeah, and I just wanted to show you, to give you some, because we see a lot of vineyards, which is for sure very, very important, because wine is made out of grapes and grapes grow in the vineyard. But I just thought maybe you're interested in seeing something else. Yeah, and I don't know, I think I have one more picture maybe where we can see the nice view we have when we go up in the cellar. It's very funny for people, because in this cellar you can go upstairs 3 times, and then so you go inside, you go upstairs 3 times, and then you go outside and you stand in the vineyard, which is very impressive for people, because they start on a normal level, and then they go up and up and up, and they go out on the level, so they are in the vineyard. And so then you have a very beautiful view. You see the church of Poistorf. We have a vineyard directly here, and where we produce our single vineyard. It's called Gruener Kirchberg. And you have a very nice view, yeah, to Poistorf and to the surroundings. So I just wanted to show you this, because I love that picture. Especially I think the clouds. It's just like painted a little bit. But now we come to the second wine I brought you. So we had a lot of Gruener Veltliner, and now our wine, now it's a little bit packed like a sandwich in between very heavy wines, because that's not a heavy wine. So the one before was a very heavy one. The next one will be a heavy one, but I'm sure he will do it. It's just like my counterpoint to all the Gruener Veltliner. We wanted just to try also something a little bit more aromatic, and so we decided to plant. It's not a hectare. It's a little bit less than a hectare of Sauvignon Blanc. We tried for many years to produce a very good wine. We failed many years, to be honest, but the vintage 2020 was the first vintage when we were very happy with the quality of the wine, and so now we have to go on every year, and I think the 2021 will be also a very good one. The point with Sauvignon Blanc is always you have 2 directions. You have the Sauvignon Blanc, the New Zealand direction, let's say, like the green direction with green aromas like green peppers and all that grassy stuff. And also on the other side, you have the more like these kind of exotic fruit stuff, or blackcurrant and all that thing. And we don't want it to be one and don't want it to be the other direction. We want it to be a little bit of both. So we were thinking about what can we do, and we tried just to pick the grapes at a different time. So we picked a small slot when they were not that ripe and made a wine out of it, and then we picked the other slot when the grapes were not very ripe, but already very ripe, and so made the other slot. And then we had 2 very different wines. It was very interesting, and so we said, okay, we want to do an assemblage en cuvée. We want to try it. If you can blend it, what can we do? And that was a very funny thing, very interesting also to taste, because it makes such a big difference when you change percentages. Yeah, really, sometimes it's just 5% you change, and it makes a completely new wine. It's really a very interesting thing. And so I think in my eyes it worked out. So that means we have a Sauvignon Blanc here, which is not, what we don't like is a very loud style of wine. So I think that worked out. It's not very loud, but you already have the aromas in the nose. And then if you take the first sip, you have a little bit of everything. You have a little bit of this green type of aromas, like I already said, green pepper and all that stuff. But you also have a little bit of black carrot, of gooseberries, of a little bit a little bit of exotic fruit style. So I think it's very nice because yeah, it's a little bit of both. And for me, it's a very nice and interesting wine. And even it's just 12.5 alcohol, it stays very long on the palate. And yeah, so I like it. So you maybe already tasted it. I will do it now. Yeah, and that's also what Weinviertel can be. It's not a typical grape variety for the Weinviertel, but I think you can try. You have to try other things as well. And in my eyes, it worked out, and I'm looking really forward for the next vintage. And I would be also interested in your opinion. Also, if you say, "Oh no, I don't like it," because of we are always interested in having opinions. Also, if they're critical, I think we have to learn, and if we don't get any critical feedback, we are not able to learn. It's even, when you do things on your own, you're always like swimming in your own soup, and maybe you don't realize things, so you always need feedback from outside. So that's it, Piotr. I don't have to say something anymore.
Thank you very much, Susanne. I have to say I like the some kind of simple and fresh style of your wines. It's really fine. I sometimes I'm tired with this overloaded and yeah, but this is something really nice. I like
so it. Then if you are tired, you just have a glass of Riegelhofer and everything is fine.
Yeah, right. Okay. Perfect. Thank you very much. This one is not imported. The previous one is imported by Mierzyński. Yes,
yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, and this one is not imported, and we have the price on the fact sheet.
Yeah, right? Correctly.
Mm-hmm. Good. Right, somebody from Szczecin is writing that's really nice wines, fresh and perfect. Yeah, I agree. Perfect. Fresh, and this is a simple, fine, well done wine. Yeah, I like it. I really like it. Thank you. Thank you, Susanne.
And thank you for having me. Bye
bye. Thank you. And Matthias now. Matthias, come back, please. And your second wine, Ortolan Cuvée. Hello, Matthias. I was.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Hello. Back again. Yeah. I'm so sorry, Piotr, that I have to make you tired again, and sorry for boring you again with a heavy, full-bodied wine.
No, Matthias. No. I like.
Just joking. But as Susanne described this wine, I can imagine that it's really a pleasure to use this Sauvignon Blanc to clean the palate after 2 or 3 quite full-bodied wines. It's always interesting during a tasting to clear it with a young and fresh wine. Yeah, coming back to my second wine. What I just wanted to add, maybe some of you noticed this special label on our bottles. I sent you also a bigger bottle shot. Maybe you have it on the computer, Piotr. Hello. Okay, Piotr is not online. No problem.
I am, but we haven't got the big bottle.
Okay. No problem. You can see it on the smaller picture, but what you see here, this label has historic reasons. So in our village of Falkenstein, there was written in 1309 one of the first wine laws, the Falkensteiner Bergteilingbuch. And they were written down in 64 articles, all the rights and duties of the vintners. And we asked in 2006 a graphic designer to put a part of this original document on our to make a draft and to put it on the label of our wines, and that's more or less our signature now. And once you've seen one of our bottles, it's you remember that. And besides that, it's also a nice story because you do not have to use things like gold, silver, limited edition or whatever. It's just authentic, and that's perfect. As I told you at the first wine, the second focus after Gruener Veltliner are for us the Burgundy varietals, and therefore I choose now for the second wine, a very important wine. This is one of our top sellers for high-end restaurants because it's a fantastic food pairing partner. It's a white Burgundy plant. And the composition is always done out of Chardonnay, Weißburgunder Pinot Blanc, and Grauburgunder Pinot Gris. So the percentages are always a little bit changing, 5% up and down, depending on the vintage. But it's more or less always about 3/4 of Chardonnay, 15 to 20% Weißburgunder Pinot Blanc, and a dash of around 5% Grauburgunder Pinot Gris. The Grauburgunder seems to be quite small in quantity, but due to the strong character of this varietal, this is a very important part for this wine. And the vinification is quite similar to the Rabenstein we had before. So we're also working here with the skin contact between 36 and 48 hours. And it's also majored in oak, but the difference is that we use for the Burgundy varietals smaller barrels. So we are talking here about 500-liter oak barrels, and that's quite useful for the Burgundy varietals. They can work with a little bit stronger notes of oak. The actual vintage 2019, you find really lots of tropical fruits. It's for me like a banana, a fresh cut pineapple, a little bit of mango or papaya, blossom honey, and there are also notes from grapefruit and roasted nuts. That's, in my opinion, that comes from the Grauburgunder. You feel the wood on the palate, but I think it's really very nice and round, and it's always a more or less a mirror of that what you had in the nose. Again, this tropical exotic notes, and in the finish it's quite dry, and again with a very nice fresh note, and this one is really keeping quite long on the palate. Actually, it's quite young vintage, 19, but I think it's perfect to enjoy, and I hope you'll like this wine as well. And whenever you're coming from Poland to Austria, you're more or less passing by Falkenstein. It's just 5 minutes away from the highway, and it would be really a pleasure for us to welcome you at our winery and to enjoy some wines with you together. So thank you very much for your attention. And if there are any further questions, I think Piotr will can give you our my details, and yeah,
Sure.
with pleasure. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, there are some comments. Finally, perhaps it's with wines. The comments are coming.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
yeah, and you're also producing the famous Pinot Noir, I believe. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Huh?
That's also we're doing two different reserves, two single vineyards of Pinot Noir.
Good.
Next time we will show a red wine.
Next time, yeah. The next time, Weinviertel red.
It's hard to make a choice if you have only if you have to select two wines out of 28. Yeah.
Good. Perfect. Thank you very much, Matthias. And Branko, you're with us now, and your second wine. Yeah, Riesling.
So, hi again, everybody. We're coming back to a light freshness to keep us awake some minutes more. We were speaking about labels, my colleagues were speaking about labels. So in case you were wondering about these maybe some funny looking creatures here on the Gruber labels. So this is to represent the little helpers like microbes, bacteria, and of course the yeasts, and to show a little fun side of labeling, and of course to represent that wine is made by the little helpers in the nature mainly. So that's the story behind our labels. We have a Riesling here. So of course everybody of you guys know that Riesling is maybe one of the most, if not the most famous white grape in the world. Of course, you guys know Riesling from Germany, Riesling from Alsace, and in Austria, Riesling is the domain, besides Gruener Veltliner, of Wachau, of course, of Kamptal and Kremstal. But as we have seen on the chart, we do have a little bit of Riesling also in Weinviertel. It's a small percentage, but the soils are good for Riesling also. So this one was grown on granite soils, and granite primary rock soils. I mean, if you look at the Wachau or if you look at Germany, rocky soils are always great for Riesling because they underline its fresh structure. So, and since we do have these soils also in Weinviertel, why not make Riesling as well? So, and now you might maybe ask yourself, why should I get a Riesling from Weinviertel when I can get Riesling from Kamptal, Wachau, or Kremstal? Well, good question. The answer is pretty simple. I think the price quality relation in Weinviertel is a little bit better. The reason being, of course, when you look at Wachau, steep vineyards, a lot of hard work. So the resources for producing Riesling in Wachau are much higher. And of course, the reputation is higher. We have to admit that Riesling from Weinviertel is not super known in the whole wide world. So yeah, no question there. But I believe if you taste this wine that you get a super typical Riesling with a lot of freshness. I think this wine has the highest acidity among all wines we have here on the list. Being Riesling, of course, Riesling has high acidity. It needs high acidity. And you have a lot of freshness of fruit, like those typical stone fruit, the citrusy, limey notes, which are so well known for Riesling, and I believe at a reasonable price. So that could maybe be an alternative because you guys are all professionals. I believe most of you from the HoReCa business, and price is always an important factor, of course. So of course, I do love Rieslings from all the world. But I also love ours. Yeah. I wanted to just a few words because climate change is also a big topic in Austria, especially in Weinviertel, which is a pretty dry region anyway. So when we have a very hot years with a lot of drought periods, and it's getting hotter and hotter almost every year, so this is a factor we have to consider. And when you look at years like 17 was super warm, 18 the earliest harvest on record, 19 was also warm with drought periods. And then luckily I have to say the harvest was not easy in 2020, but 2020 had was not so super dry. It was a later harvest, so you have a lower alcohols with a lot of elegance for the 2020s. And so we are very happy with the 20, and I believe the 21 will also be a very, very good vintage. So the vintage variation is an important thing for cool climate regions such as Austria. So I mean, we're not in the south of Spain where it's warm like all the time. And that's I think a fascinating thing also for the customer to see that the wine from one year tastes different than from another year, and it's also due to the climate and to the vintage variation. So yeah, elegant, nice, and super fresh Riesling for a reasonable price, I believe, and I think that's also an argument.
And about the prices, I know the Weinviertel wine for, I don't know, 25 years now, and it's the prices are not. It's not anymore a cheap wine region as it was 25 years ago, before the DAC was created and before everything happened. So, what's the future? You mean the reputation of Wachau, of course, but the prices of Weinviertel wine will. What we see here is no. This is it's no more this 3 euro wines. Yeah, this is we are above 10. We are about 15. Yeah. And what is the direction, according to you? What is the future of the price?
Well, I believe that Weinviertel still will be also in the future wines that will have a good price-quality relation. Nobody knows what the future will bring, but I believe that the prices will stay. Of course, the factors for prices, there are a lot of them. It's manpower, it's resources, it's hardware, it's everything is getting more and more expensive. So as you see, inflation is also rising. So we will not be able to keep super low prices for all time. Nobody will. Yeah, but probably also not the Wachau. So I don't know. I mean, the production costs are a big factor, and I still believe that Weinviertel will also in the future be able to produce great wines with a lot of quality mindedness behind it for still reasonable prices.
Okay. Yeah, I was just saying that the quality has his own price. You cannot make forever good wines and do not keep the price low. Yeah, then you can do it for some time, but not forever.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Branko. Some
Dziękuję.
comments are coming. Dziękuję. Yes. And where from in Slovakia are you?
I think nobody will know. It's called Piešťany. It's 1 hour north of Bratislava. It's like a spa.
Yeah, there's a spa.
Yeah, Piešťany. I don't know if you know it.
Yeah, of course I know.
Really?
Yes. This is north to Bratislava on the way to, well, more or less on the way to Poland. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. This is Święty Jur, and then
yes.
Yeah. I even been there. Yes, once.
Great.
Okay.
Thank
you. Thank you very much.
Have a great evening.
still the discussion about the previous wine, I believe. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Stay with us. And now Nikki, come back, Nikki, with your second wine. Nikki Bannert with. Yes. Hello. Good evening.
You can hear me, okay?
And see you and hear you. Yes. Fine.
I will try it again. Okay. I speak about the story of Serena. If you take a look to the label, you can see Serena, and I hope everybody of you knows about the story of Serena. So I tell you our story. 2005, we had workers from Poland, and one of them, he was called Stanislav. He always called me Serena. The reason is he told us that the story of Serena is a little bit like my story. Serena was a little bit like me. I'm a very loud person. I'm full of energy. I'm always in action. I'm funny. And they told us Serena was the same like me, because I did a lot of things in the company, and the company became bigger and more beautiful. 2005, we had a cuvée of Weißburgunder, Pinot Blanc, Chardonnay, and Gruener Veltliner. And now we thought we make this cuvée again. We thought we make a landmark for Poland. We make a present for you, a cuvée with the name Serena. I love this wine because this wine is a dark wine. He's very good to food. For me, it's a tropical wine. I smell ananas. I love it. Yes, and I think it's a very nice gift. And this wine you can, I don't know now the right word. You can store the wine a long time at home. Yes, have fun with it, Serena. So Piet, you can help me.
Sure. So
That's
this was
my
your
story.
worker Stanisław, yes? Your worker Stanisław, who invented the name, yeah? Stanisław.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. And you still have Polish workers there?
Now we work with Czechoslovakia.
Yeah. Okay.
It's near.
They're closer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Nikki. And
I
what
have
do you
to
think
train
about?
my English for the next year.
No, it's perfect. It's better than mine. But English is easy. Don't worry. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And this is without this wine. Yeah. Okay. Great. So I believe this is a comment to the Serena. And Christoph Bauer, the last wine today. And still Christoph Bauer. Hello. Grauer Burgunder 2020. Christoph, are you with us? Can we see Christoph? He's coming. Yes. Hi, Christoph. Hello. Okay.
So I'm here again. The sheet, there's only one thing. I think it's not Gruener Veltliner, of course. The variety is Grauer Burgunder. Grauer Burgunder, also known as Pinot Grigio or Pinot Gris in France. We have been one of the first wineries here in our area to plant this variety again in 1994. We started. We had a a vineyard site facing north, and the slope was facing north, so it's a little bit cooler than the other areas we are planting our wines. When you are in these vineyards, you are really looking to Czech Republic. You already see the city of Znojm, and so we were thinking of putting a grape, a variety there, which is getting really good ripeness. And in 1995, we started with 1/4 hectare, and now, yeah, as you see also on the sheet, we planted again in 2011 and in 2015 also, and now we have almost 2 hectares of this wine, which comes our customers, they really love this Grauer Burgunder, and we always had too less to sell, and luckily we have now enough vineyards to have a little bit more of this fantastic wine and to sell it more or less the whole year. What we do with the Grauer Burgunder is we harvest it not too late, but really ripe, and then also we press them very gently. What we try is to make whole bunch pressing. So the grapes you have seen on this photo before, they are quite dark, and if you make maceration of the skins, you really get lots of color already out of the skins. And because we do whole bunch pressing, the wine is really light. It's not very dark. It's not golden. It's really light, and that's what we want. We want a classic wine style, not a heavy, full-bodied wine style. It should be classic. Also, the difference to the other varieties in our area, you have full ripeness, but you also have always a fresh and a nice acidity, in this wine, which makes it really not only more full-bodied, but also very balanced. What else do we do is we keep a little bit of sugar inside, only a few grams. You see, it's 6 grams this year, just to match the acidity, to get a balanced wine. In 2020, like all the other white wines and all the wines, we are quite a little bit lighter than the other years, but also from the character, from the aromas, I think we have quite a really typical Grauer Burgunder this year again. In some other years, maybe the wine will be a little bit more stronger or more full-bodied, just like the vintages. I told you before, what we're trying to do is do the wine like the vintage. So you should taste not only the grape in the wine, you should also taste the vintage. And if you taste the wines after a few years, you always recognize also the vintage. What I always say is the wine is stored sunshine, and so the more sun you have, the more full-bodied the wines, and you will taste, or you will see the sunlight after a couple of years still. Maybe just behind me you see the label of our wines. There are 2 old men, and the dark man is my grandfather in his wine cellar, which shows the big tradition of not only our winery, but also the big tradition of wine in Austria anyway. And what we want to do is we want to put that in a perfect context. There is somebody asking for the pear. I think you can, like the carp, the fish. This very more. It's hard for me in English to explain. The carp, I think it's the English name for the fish. You have it also here in our area a little bit, and it's very fat fish, not a very light fish, but also fat fish with a good sauce. I think maybe this Grauer Burgunder would fit that very well. So thank you for listening. Thank you for trying all our Weinviertel wines, and yeah, let's have a nice evening.
Thank you, Christoph. This is the. I have to say, I really like your Grauer Burgunder. Yeah, I like it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Maria, will you join us? Hello. Yeah. So this was a very silent tasting from our side, but let's believe.
Because you were so focused trying the wines, hopefully, and tasting, enjoying them.
I will send you. I believe. Yeah, please take some photos of showing you tasting the wines. Yes, if not, Maria would never believe me that this tasting had place. So please make the photo as soon as you can. Yeah. Thank you. Let's believe, the silent tastings are also sometimes, it happened. But let's believe the orders will follow this tastings. Yeah, this tasting.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Branko. This is Branko. And thank you very much. Thank you for being with us, both Austrian and Polish attendees and participants. And let's believe the Weinviertel wine will be more present in Poland.
Yes, thank you very much also from our side, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you. And if you have any question or anything, please feel free to contact us anytime. So cheers and have a nice evening.
Cheers. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.